Okay, there we go. So, my book with all my notes, doctor's writing supposedly. Here I have my predictions from March for both Mew and Gulf. We'll start with Mew though. Now, his 3 astro cards were mice, house and dog. Now, I want to just mention something quickly before I go any further. Back in March, I wasn't as certain about what the cards were telling me, about the other 2, let's say. So, you're going to hear all sorts of things in these predictions about a wedding or a possible, getting married as soon as next month, etc. But honestly, this is because it was back then. Who knew they were going to keep postponing like this and they weren't serious about this, and who knew that it turned out the way it has. So yes, I've definitely sort of changed my perspective about what these cards possibly mean, but I will go into that as we go along. But the one thing I wanted to mention is that while I've been looking back at the cards, there's one particular thing that has really stood out to me, and it didn't stand out to me back then because back then I was still very new to all the cards, in particular Lenormand. I was learning about all the meanings and everything. So the dog was friendship and loyalty, basically. That's all I knew about it at the time. Like, I hadn't got too familiar with the other possible meanings yet. Now, these days, I know that cards can literally mean what they picture, so it could mean a dog. And since I've reiterated over these cards, the most thing that stands out to me is the dog being a literal dog. As we know, Mew has 2 dogs now. One that is particularly aged. So, I started thinking something being taken away from a house, a family, losing something. I started thinking, I won't say it because I don't want to be accused of cursing or anything, but I sort of straight away went for the worst case scenario in my head, and then I sort of went over it and thought, but he has 2 dogs now, so it's possible that with everything that's going to happen, which will make sense when I explain it all, that the possibility of losing a dog, let's say, could be just losing ownership, or even just handing ownership over, or seeing less of the dog. And of course I'm talking about Mushu, which Mushu's home is really at Tul's family's house. I mean, let's be honest, her family is there. So she was born there. So it wouldn't be fair to pull her away and rehome her in the future if that's what Mew plans to do. Like, she's already she's already well homed, let's say, and well, from what I've seen lately, she spends more time with Tul and the family than Mew in general. So, the excitement was at the beginning of the adoption, but then sort of wore off, and we all know that Mew loves his other dog more, Chopper, because it just shows. So, I really hope that it's not the worst case scenario and it's more something like that. But it doesn't have to mean dog. That was just something that really stood out to me, that I wanted to, it's a possibility, and I wanted to get that out first because I didn't cover it back then. Okay, alright, now let's get on with what I actually wrote. Sorry, hang on, when will a new video be released? Well, I'm doing it right now, Bruno. Okay, trying to keep up with all your comments. Now, so back in March, on the 22nd of March to be exact this year, I predicted with 3 cards, which we call astro cards for Mew, mice, house, dog. So from these 3 cards, the possibilities, so other than what I just covered, mice and house, the combination of mice and house can be unhealthy family dynamics, decaying tradition, reduction in comfort, could be something about moving as well in that case, spoiled foundations, and I also added it could be like, as I just said, moving, so it could be emptying the house as well, like lessening what's in your house, what's in your home, maybe downsizing, but I don't think so in Mew's case, the way they talk about the design of the house and everything, or burglary even. It could be maybe somebody is broken into, maybe something is stolen from someone, it could be that too. Or house can also be family, so like the unhealthy family dynamics as mentioned. Mice house could be losing a family member. Sad thought, but you know, and I'm not saying any particular, just family member, you know, leave it at that. These are just the possibilities that I'm saying. House and dog, the combination of house and dog, devotion to family and tradition, a friend of the family, supportive inner circle, friend's house, and faithful family members. So it has those meanings as well, house and dog. And mice and dog, as I said earlier about the dog being an actual dog, but mice and dog can also mean decaying loyalty, decaying friendship, a false friend. You can find out that who you thought was your friend is actually only your friend for their own advantage, or interior motives, etc. Sorry, not interior, ulterior motives. Or mice can also mean like stressed, nervous, anxious, so it could be a stressed, nervous, or anxious friend. Or like I said, stealing, so stealing from a friend, taking something from a friend, or having something taken from you by a friend. Okay, so there are all the possible meanings, and my prediction written on the 22nd of March was this month could be Mew getting anxious about his family and friendship with Tool, maybe being thrown into jeopardy over his sudden change of heart, if he has a sudden change of heart, or ongoing trauma regarding Gulf, meaning, you know, he's still being connected to this person who he may not want to be connected with, if that's the case. So that's house and mice. His family and his inner circle will support him. Obviously, millions will support him as well. And Waanjai, as long as he's, you know, as long as he's not hurting us. So that's, well, actually, we support him anyway, even if he does hurt us. I mean, look what's happened the last 2-3 years. But anyway, that's house and dog. But some friendships, possibly mutual friends of him and Tool, may suffer, be stressed, and or decay, or maybe even turn out to be false. That's the dog and mouse. There is also the slight possibility, unpleasant as it is, that Mew could lose someone in his life, maybe even a dog. That's what I wrote after. I added that last night. If somebody, you know, people who investigate when something was written by really looking deep into the ink, you'd see that that was written last night. Anyway, it's a horrible thought, I know, but, you know, I thought I'd better cover it. Alright, so that's Mew. That's his prediction. So I'll put book aside for now. And let's get out our Lenormand deck, our little deck here, trusty little deck. Hello there, little deck. Is it possible to put the translator in Portuguese? Guys, I found out that even though I spend so much time manually typing out my words and everything, auto translation still doesn't really make sense of it. So what I've had to do is just put it in writing, use Google Translate to put it in writing. I've already done this for the last video. I put Turkish because someone specific asked for it. You're asking for Portuguese. I'll try and do that later as well. I'll try and get all my writing and put the file into the description later after the live of being able for you to access that. But you know, you can do it too. I'm pretty sure I've done it for other people's videos too, that you can access the chat or the talk, the dialogue of the video through what's it called? I'm not on YouTube here. I'm on my streamer, but you read along basically. You can read along with what I'm saying, and you can copy that. So you can copy that and translate it yourself if you don't want to wait for me as well. That's also possible. Hi Kelly, how are you? I'm good, thank you. All right. Anyway, let's get on with it. So give this a shuffle, and now we're back to the camera here. So I will do them facing you. So, little deck, what do we have in store for this month of November for mewsuppasit? What does this month entail for mewsuppasit? Oh goodness. A card wanted to present itself and it looks like it's clouds. There's still a lot of lack of clarity. There's confusion. Possibly still stuck in an illusion. Or could even be he's having eye trouble again, because as I went over a few videos back, the cloud card can also point to eye health issues. Well, which one of those it is, I guess, or it can be both as well, but yeah, just watch out for if Mew starts talking about having eye trouble again, or starts saying he's got sore eyes, or starts having to wear sunglasses more often again. That'll be why. Anyway, okay, so that's how he's feeling. That's what we're centered around today for this month. It's not good really, but you know, it does depend. It does depend on the surrounding cards. Alright, so what else is in store for mewsuppasit this month? I'll count to 8 and then I'll pull out the cards. Please don't drop any more yet. Little deck, you seem very enthusiastic today. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, fish card flashed then, by the way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. So no, that's right. Cross of Destiny first. And then fill in the corners. Okay, put these cards aside. Alright, you see that all right there? Hang on, no, we're going, let's go back this way a bit. There, okay. Alright, so we already know what we're centered around. The topic of the day is clouds. So what is the cover card, which is basically the starting point? We have the cover card and we have the closure card down here. So let's see what the cover card is. Not good, not good. We start with the fox. The fox can mean work, but in Mew's case, it hardly ever does. In Mew's case, the fox means strategy, deception, being sneaky about things. And that matched with the clouds. I can't help but be a little concerned what we're going to be reading about today, guys. Anyway. Okay, and what about the closure card? Tower. Tower. So the tower can be legal matters, This could be, remember Mew was taking people to court, or was going to sue somebody or something? Could be something about that. Or it could be regarding work, and it could be there's still an unclear path going on here with work. You know, there's somebody is deceiving someone, whether that's Mew deceiving fans or somebody else, or if it's somebody deceiving him. There's definitely deception, and I don't just say that. Almost every reading in the past has had a sighting of this, unfortunately. But you know, when you have such a clever mind, such a PhD mind, I suppose your mind is always playing tricks, let's say. Maybe you could look at it in that positive manner for deception, like, you know, he's being tricky. He's being tricky. He's thinking about, how can I trick them now? Which clue should I give them next that's going to make them think this and think that? It could be like that. It may not be actual lies and, you know, deception as bad as people may think. But I don't know, on the other hand. I mean, as I said, it's come up every reading almost since he's been with Tull, basically, and since this whole thing has started. So, I don't know. What have we got here? Hi, I love your videos and tarot readings about Waanjai Mewgulf. I'm watching the live, but I can't understand much. But I will watch it again when the sub's in Portuguese coming out. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Stephanie. If I could translate into every language, I would, but unless you know how to do that yourself manually, or you hire someone to do it, it's pretty hard. Or unless you pay a fortune to get AI to do it as well, which I can't do. Oh, that's funny. I should mention, I don't have any profit from this page or anything. I don't ask for people to like, subscribe and share too much or anything like that, promoting or anything like that. I don't get paid or anything. My husband had the idea I should do something like buy me a coffee or something, but I don't even know like how to do that, or should I, and you know, well, I'll think about it. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that to you guys. Maybe you could suggest, or you know how. Maybe some of you are in the YouTube thing and know how to get that started. Anyway, let's focus back on the reading. So, alright, what are the other two corner cards? Go with this one first. Matter of the heart. Clouds here. And what about the other one? House. House. So there's the house. If you could, you guys can see, this is Mew's cards up here already. House. His astro cards. Well, house has shown up so far. So, heart and clouds, there's some confusion about something he loves that's very close to home, in other words. Could even be family. Okay. Alright, and let's keep going. What's this card? Top first card. Oh. The scythe. The scythe is back. Well, as I have to keep reminding myself, it doesn't always mean a straight cut off. It can mean a sharp decision has to be made. So it could be that he has to be strategic about this sharp decision he has to make about his love life. Could be a change of heart, as mentioned earlier. Okay, what about this one? Oh, wait. No, I should do this one next. Crossroads. Crossroads, guys. That means a change of mind. That means changing direction. What did I just say? And Tower is involved. So work. What he loves, changing direction, possibly about work, or Tower could be referring to something legal, like changing your mind about an engagement, perhaps. Anyway, and the other one. Okay, now see, this is the card for work. This is the card that is solely sort of purpose for meaning work, because this is the market card. Can't really mean anything else other than work. Market is work. Trading, selling at the market, stocks, that's the work card. So with that being there, that means that Fox obviously is not work, and it means that Tower probably isn't about work either, but more something legal, something serious. That means. Okay, and this card down here, Bear. Well, I just said it's something serious, and Bear makes a big deal out of everything. It can also mean protection. And look where it is. If we jump into the line here, we've got House, Bear, Tower. Sounds like something about protecting the family with legal matters. Protecting the family, protecting a home. If we go back to the idea that this it could be either someone does get broken into and legal justice has to be sought, or maybe a dog gets stolen. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. Or the other thing I was thinking is oh, it's lost me now. What was it? Oh, see, the Tower, it doesn't have to be serious like you broke the law sort of matters. It can also be legal matters like signing a contract of any kind, like perhaps signing a contract for a new house or buying travel tickets. It can also be that. So it could even be something like preparing a family trip and being very protective about that, like protective of who gets the info, or Bear. Bear can also point to a mother figure. So maybe it's about particularly his mum, getting time away with her, perhaps. Or maybe she's organising the trip for once. Or now this is something that definitely people think, and that is that Mama J has come back on board and is controlling money matters. House, Bear, Tower, that could be exactly what that means. Family, mother, financial, business matters. It could be that. So there you go. You know who you are, who talks to me about that matter all the time. Could be a confirmation on that in the cards today. Okay, so now we've done all the cards here. I've turned them all over, so let's start doing the cards. Let me just, I think I was going to put them up here, but maybe I shouldn't. Should I? I don't know, guys. Can you see it all right down here anyway? Maybe it'll take less time to mess around if I just do it down here. I'll have to put them up later anyway so that I have a reference when I put the cards away, but yeah, let's just, no, it's upside down to me, guys. It would be much clearer if I put it up at the fridge. I think I will, just so I don't do something wrong, predict something wrong, say something wrong, etc. So let me just quickly get everything out here. So we've got clouds. How is everyone, by the way? Scythe, Child Fox, whoop, Fox Bear, Tower, Crossroads, Heart. I think we've got them all here. What haven't I got yet? Market probably, isn't it? Also, the fish that flashed earlier that I mentioned, money matters. So, you could be confused about his financial situation right now. Mama J could be trying to somewhat control things, perhaps, or keep things friendly for the family, or something like that. I don't know, something like that. Where are we going? We're up here. Crossroads is there. Tower is there. Bear is there. Fox is up here. Scythe is there. Oh, we missed one. Which one do? House. I thought I had. Oh, house is here. To get my second deck out then. Oh, that would be awkward if Gulf gets house as well then. Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll take the risk. Alright. House, where are you? Okay, there we go. House. Alright, there we go. Now, let me... can you guys see that alright in the circle, or should I make that bigger? I want to ask a question about MT. Can you do a reading for me? Well, not right now, but ask me again later. And yeah, we might cover some questions later, but right now we're doing the portrait readings, so I don't want to talk about them too much in that regard yet. Yeah, I think I'll switch to this screen, guys, so you can see a bit better. Okay? Yeah, that's better. Alright, so now we are going to cover the cards properly. So we'll start with the in the past, or earlier in the month column, Fox, Market, House. Well, as we said, Fox, strategic, possibly a little bit deceptive, sneaky. He's being strategic about business and family. So, if you ask me, I think that's more like he's not telling people as much. He's not being as open a book as he usually is. Have you noticed, like, he's not sharing as many moments with Tool and the family. His family, that is, Tool's family. He's focused on his family, which is the way it should be, really, but we've seen less and less of Tool's family and Tool. Now and then you'll see Tool trying to share something, but Mew seems to be focused, his focus is elsewhere at the moment. His focus is on work and business. He's always, he's really trying to promote his blessed hands massage at the moment. What else? He is also trying to do the We Are Young cafe a lot, noticeably. But he's not really promoting his actual love story, or even himself that much. He was at one stage, like, he was really putting himself out there beyond, like, what the magazines were doing, but now he seems to be pulling that back and just leaving it to the actual business people, you know, doing the magazines, the magazine photos and the promotion shoots, and talking about shows that haven't actually been released yet, etc. Possibly shooting again, but I'm not sure. To me, the message he sent the other day was more like he was reminding us that he has work coming out, rather than shooting something new. But who knows? If I were to guess, because he was in a music studio, wasn't he? So my first guess would be that he was possibly singing the soundtrack for a show, for an upcoming show. Perhaps one of the shows didn't have a soundtrack yet, or the director decided that they wanted to change the soundtrack to Mew's voice or something like that. Who knows? But it didn't look like he was actually shooting for a show, because he was in headphones and in a studio. So, but that's just my thoughts. All right, so yeah, definitely being more careful, secretive possibly, and strategic about what he shares about work and his family. I'd say that's what that says in a nutshell. Then moving on to present, or in the mid-month, we have Scythe Cloud's Bear. Scythe Cloud's Bear. Well, I'd say he has a sharp decision to make, and he's still not completely clear on it yet. Maybe he knows what he wants, and he knows that he's going to make that decision eventually, but he's still not sure about how he's going to go about it, perhaps. And he's also not sure how he's going to deal with the bear of the matter, we could say. As I said earlier, the bear kind of makes a big deal out of everything. So him with a possible change of heart, if we jump here, is a big deal. It's going to affect his work, his family. It's going to have possible legal drawbacks. It's a big deal. So he could be thinking this card could be about strength. It could be about protection. And it could be about being overbearing as well. This decision that he has to make that he's not sure about, not being clear about it, the unknown side of this sharp decision he has to make could be overbearing him right now. And he may have to build up the strength and courage to make this decision. But he just doesn't know how. He doesn't know how he's going to get that courage. He doesn't know how he's going to make things work. And what I can say is I very much sympathize. I think it's sympathize in this case, not empathize, because I've never been in the situation, but sympathize with Mew about how difficult it is with his current situation. I've said it many times before. To me, it almost looks like he's considering social suicide in a way, if he were to jump out and change his mind just like that. He needs to do it in a very strategic, careful manner in order to not break hearts, we could look at this as well. And yeah, it's just, I feel for him. He's in between a rock and a hard place at the moment with the situation he's put himself in, if it's true that he really does want to change direction now. And luckily though, the universe is on his side, as the cards keep hinting. Karma and divine timing play a huge part in his life right now. So no matter what, no matter how uncertain he is, it's the inevitable. Something is going to happen to unite him with Gulf again. He doesn't know how, we don't know how, but somebody does. Somebody is, doing something behind the scenes to make it happen, whether that be an actual person or an entity. There's definitely something working in their favor, let's say. Okay, and moving on to this last column, so future or later in the month, we have Heart, Crossroads, Tower. As I said, Heart and Crossroads really does mean like a change of heart, a change of direction about something you love, something you're very passionate about, something you really care about. And then together with Tower, kind of just brings in that matter of it being legal, a legal matter, something that you at least need to sign a contract for, let's say. Or maybe not contract, but paperwork, because as I said, it could be booking tickets. If you're booking tickets for perhaps, what he's loving what he's loving and feeling passionate about could be something like the travel vlogs. I've mentioned this before too, that perhaps Mew is going to stop doing the travel vlogs with Tool, or change his approach to doing the travel vlogs, or approach to their channel, or something like that as well. So that could cover that as well, but it could also be something very serious, such as engagement, marriage, arranged marriage, let's say, changing mind against authority, because Tower is authority. So it could be about changing your mind about something that you've been sort of commanded to do from a higher up, like. Tower can also relate to loneliness, if you think of like Rapunzel in the Tower. So this could even be Mew choosing to let go of his current situation with Tool and Gulf, change direction in the way of like choosing himself over everything else, going and doing the necessary spiritual work, and, you know, meditating on his life and finding himself again, you know, getting reconnected with that inner being in there while being alone. So it could also mean that. Okay? Just a minute, guys. Just need a drink. Okay. So, oh. Okay, I will write the question. You can check it later. Thank you, little girl. That's your name, by the way, guys. Stephanie, I like your voice. So sweet and calm, so good and pleasant to listen. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. That's nice to know. Okay. Moving on. So now we're going to look at what's on Mew's mind, which is the top line here. So we have Fox, Scythe, Heart. As we can see here, very much on his mind right now is this strategic, sharp decision he has to make about his love life. This is what is sort of playing on his mind all the time right now. Now, let's just say that Mew really is in love with Tool. Then why is this here? What sharp decision does he have to make regarding them? They seem to be portraying to the media that they're taking it easy, that they don't have arguments. Like, you know, Mew was asked about the way they settle arguments when compared to someone like Davika and Tur, who just got married. Congratulations to them. A wonderful couple they are. Such beautiful love pouring out of the screen there, by the way. But anyway, he was saying, oh, we don't fight, we just talk it out. We're chill, no problem. Sounds very bro-like to me, but anyway. Perhaps it's not chill. Perhaps it's actually very much the opposite behind the scenes. And he has a sharp decision to make because of all this stuff going on. Perhaps he has to be strategic about the breakup. Being strategic and careful and secretive about the breakup. Could be something like that. I really can't put that in a happy sort of position there, because Scythe and Heart is pretty harsh. Yeah, not a good match. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on. So reality. This is what's on his mind. The reality is that he is confused about work and where he's headed. Right there. That's what that line basically tells me straight off. Is he's confused about his future work, his future financial position, which way he's going to go in the future. And this could be after he changes direction. He could be thinking, you know, what would be the consequences if he does turn around and change his mind? Then how's that going to affect his work life, his financial situation. Hello there.
Hello there.
So there's that. And then, yeah, like I said, clouds and change of direction. He's a bit lost right now. He doesn't know how things are going to go in the future. He doesn't really know because he probably hasn't planned that far yet. He just doesn't have clarity about what the future holds, basically. And down here we have hidden influences. So hidden influences for what's causing this and this. So what's causing him to have this on his mind and this being the reality? Family, bear, tower. Now, if you ask me straight off, I know we said that it could be Mama J controlling financial matters, but now I'm thinking the bear could be not Mama J, but possibly Tool's mum, because what flashed in my mind just then when I read those 3 cards is arranged marriage, more or less, like authority being the older relatives of the family, ordering their young children to get married for business matters, for example. But it could also be the family. House can also be, and I always say this for Gulf because you are my home. The house could be referring to his work family. So perhaps it's more about fans becoming overbearing and having to take legal matters. That would play into the idea that he's suing somebody. What else? If we take that approach, so fans are becoming overbearing and getting out of control. So Mew is becoming protective and is taking legal action. And this is why he is concerned about his future, because he's not sure how taking this legal action is going to affect his future. I'm not sure why that would be the case though, unless it's not just one fan but like a whole bunch of fans. Perhaps it could be talking about shippers even. If we think about if this thing with Tool really is, as Waanjai believe, not true, sort of a mask over the truth, etc. Perhaps the shippers are becoming overbearing for Mew, and he's just going to maybe not take legal action, but escape, run away, what do you call it? Just pull himself away from the crowd because of the overbearing, out of control feeling. And this is going to make him not see clearly what the future holds, because his work could be uncertain, unsure, possibly in jeopardy even, because he changes his mind. It goes back to the idea of what I said about him stepping away and choosing himself over everything else. Could be that. Yeah, that would tie in the whole thing then. So it could be fans are becoming too much for him. It may not be shippers of him and Tool though. It could also be other fans. But let's say fans and work are becoming too much for him. So he chooses to retreat. That's the word I was looking for. Retreat. Choose himself. Make a sharp decision to choose himself. Sort of sneak away quietly in the future. Change direction. Meditate on where he's at and where he wants to be in the future. And then he's not sure what he's going to do in the future if he does that. Something like that. Yeah. So I think I've covered that idea well enough. If we go back to this being Mama J protecting him, then perhaps Mew is worried about his future work and financial matters for that, because Mama J may be very strict and protective of what Mew does for work. Perhaps she may discourage him from doing couple work or something. Or perhaps she is helping Mew to find his strategy for getting away, doing the breakup, changing his mind, retreating to himself, and healing properly. Maybe. If we go into the teas or the knighting even, we can see that this bear here is knighted and teed with the fox and the heart, which if you go into the tea then also involves the scythe and the clouds. So whatever this thing he has to be strategic about is, it's a big deal. It could involve mother or a mother figure. As I said, it could be the other mother as well, putting pressure on him, and you know, he has to be strategic about how he is going to break that situation up, but he's not sure about it yet. It's scythe here. If we go down the other way, this way, we have scythe and house together. So something very close to home. He has to make a very sharp decision about something close to home. This could even be, you know, what we were talking about with the mice in house up here, of losing something, losing a family member or losing a dog or etc. What I said about how it could be not actually, you know, them losing their life or something, but could be just Mew deciding to step away. Well, that would fit in with the idea of leaving Mushu with Tool then as well, because you'd be removing something from your house or from your household or from your family. So it could be that. Could also be the sharp decision to move out. Could be that too. Move out of home, or stop visiting home. Stay in the condo until moved into this new house they talk of, perhaps. Retreat to the condo until they can move into a house together. Maybe Mama J's making it awkward for them to be at the J mansion together, or maybe Tool's family, you know, maybe it's too crowded in that household for them. Don't really get that idea though. Of course, if we think about another possibility, that Mew could be with someone else behind the scenes, could be living with someone else behind the scenes, same thing. It could be they need more privacy. Could be they need more privacy because being around people all the time is getting overbearing. Could be something like that. And that could even be Mew on his own. He just may need more time alone as well. If we go this side, we have Market here is matched with Heart and Tower. Yeah. So that makes me think business, like all the businesses he's signed himself into regarding Tool and their mutual friends. I do that because I don't think they're really friends of Mew. They're friends of Tool. They're only friends of Mew through Tool, these business associates. So if anything went pear-shaped, Mew's in a bit of a pickle anyway. Yeah, so business matters there, and also something dear to him, something he's passionate about, something he loves, the work he loves. So yeah, again, it could play into the idea that he's going to retreat, going to keep to himself in the future, or possibly even just, you know, at the end of this month, he might pull away from the camera a little bit. So he's going to pull away from what he loves to be alone, perhaps. And the other way here we have crossroads match with fox and house. Change of decision. He has to be very strategic, sneaky, careful, possibly secretive about change of direction, decision regarding a house. This could be about moving in with somebody, possibly. Or it could be about moving in with somebody else in secret as well, because as we all know, Gulf has a house as well. And his house is already built, so I mean, you know, yeah, it could be about being strategic about moving out of the condo and house into this other house that is already there with somebody else, deceiving the world with somebody else, being secretive about who you're really with. Matter of the heart here. Could be like that as well. Okay, so I think I've covered that enough. Now, let's, I'll go back to the other screen. And let's put these cards away. And we'll move on to Gulf. You see, I shuffle them no particular way, just get them in there. Alright, so first off we'll read the prediction for Gulf. So, for Gulf, his astro cards were Moon, Key, Birds. Moon, Key, Birds. Now, this really, straight away, the three cards together, Moon, Key, Birds. Something very emotional, or something, you know, something he feels deeply about is, he's going to open up about something. He's going to open up about something he really cares about. And with birds there, which is like the social media card, he's going to make it public knowledge, possibly. Or he's going to open up about gossip and rumour about him, perhaps. Yes, it could be those things. So what have I written? What have I actually written prediction back in 22nd of March? Well, first of all, let me say Moon and Key, the combination can be unlocking subconscious, new awareness of dreams, dreaming of the answer, important opportunities. Really, to me, unlocking stands out in that lot. But anyway, and Key and Birds together can be, birds can also be like worried, anxious, nervous, excited. So Key and Birds could be worried about opening up, anxiety about revelation, or as I just said, could be nervous, could be excited about opening up or about a revelation. Now, no, I'll wait till after I read out the prediction before I say what I think now. But anyway, it can also be important message on social media. And the last combination, Moon and Birds, emotional instability, worries, facing gossip and rumour, like I said. Okay? So what I have written here, sounds like this month will be all about Gulf preparing himself to open up about something, Moon and Key, on social media to face the gossip and rumours, Moon and Birds, and to speak up about a revelation. Wow, I say. I said wow, which is Key and Birds. So Mewgulf are both anxious and worried this month, or nervous and excited, as mentioned, about something, about what's about to happen. Sounds a lot like, this is what I'm still reading what I wrote. sounds a lot like preparing to come clean about the true nature of their relationship, past, present, and future. If Mew just has a case of the wedding jitters, this is why I said, back then, how was I supposed to know? Anyway, if Mew just has a case of the wedding jitters or something and will still marry till, then maybe both Mew and Gulf are worried about losing their fans, in other words, Waanjai, us, over this, and are both preparing for all the criticism and guilt and pain they will either feel or make others feel soon. So that's what I wrote. Yeah, so what I think now, well, with Gulf having his fan meeting coming up next month, his focus is about preparing himself well. Perhaps he's preparing for that event. I can't remember because the translation I was looking at wasn't a proper full one, but perhaps he's got a special guest this year. Can always hope, can't we, Waanjai? But no, it could be someone else as well. People have said he's most likely to have his best pals there, like Bright and Smith possibly. So it couldn't be them he's talking about not expecting. It's not who you might expect, he said. So yeah, we don't know who that guest is. But if I jump to a totally straight off the cuff non-Waanjai approach to this, it could be he's going to reveal who he's with, but it's not Mew. It could be something like that. I don't think so, but there's the possibility. Or it could be even just announcing a new project with somebody in particular as well. It could be that. I mean, a revelation is really any big news. Any big news can be about work, can be about personal life, can be about fans, which, that's why I said, he's organised his fan mate. So it could be about that. With the side of Mew being anxious that I said there and having the wedding jitters, well, he's certainly got the wedding jitters, doesn't he? He's got wedding jitters. He's putting it, I'm not getting married until the end of next year. Okay, well, all right then. That's cool, right? Oh yeah, we're cool, bro. We're cool. We're fine. We don't need to get married in a hurry. We're fine, just fine. Yeah, okay. Why were we in such a rush to get engaged then? Obviously, it was a promotion thing, right, guys? I think it's pretty clear by now that that's what it was all about. So whether it was a true, honest, and genuine proposal even is still yet to be seen, isn't it? Yeah, all right. So let's get on. I think I've also about the criticism, guilt, and pain. I was thinking, Mew and Gulf might feel a little bit of remorse about how they've possibly dragged Waanjai along with all the clues and everything, if that's what's going to happen. Not that it is. Or it could even be some fans and Waanjai feeling this because they think, wow, I've been trying to link these two together all these years and they really don't want to be linked together or something like that, which some have already felt. I know some Waanjais who are totally just over the whole thing and not even bothering with either of them anymore. Sort of closeted Waanjai now. But yeah, this is what I wrote back in March. Do I still think that's possible? Not really. I don't think... The more I've seen through this year of hints, clues, things that just couldn't be just a coincidence, the more I think, well, if they are pulling our leg, it's not all right, you know. And I cannot get my head around the idea that Mew or Gulf would do that to their fans. I just can't. I can't consider that even a real possibility that easily, because it's a horrible thing to do. Taking advantage of people's nostalgia and wishful thinking and misdirecting them or manipulating them, deceiving them into believing something so strongly, and then in Mew's case shoving something else in their face and saying, actually no, this is the reality, losers, you know. It's not how I feel, but you know, it's what comes across when I start thinking of how other people are feeling right now, you know. I get so many messages of Waanjai that are hurt, crying even over the situation right now, you know. It's really, all I can tell them is, look, you need to put yourself first. If this is no good for your mental health, let Mew go for now. He's fine. He's got people supporting him. Just, you know, put yourself first. Don't torture yourself, and wait and see what happens in the future, because you can always come back and support him when you're ready. It's my best advice to anyone who's watching as well who feels that way. All right, now, after that, pet talk, let me just put my book away here. Here we go. And we'll do Gulf's cards. So, hello again, little deck. Can you tell us, please, what is in store this month for gulfkanawut? What does this month of November have in store for gulfkanawut? Now, that didn't flip, so I'm just going to put that in the middle. No, I don't know what it is. Hang on, there. Okay, thank you. You're very enthusiastic once again, little deck, but please don't flip any more cards. Oh, I say that and then it does. Oh, look at that. Well, it's a heart matter. That's the cover card right there. It's a matter of the heart. Okay, now I'm going to count to 8. Okay, little deck, so wait. Be patient. Okay. Ah, I said be patient. 1. Checking. Maybe I should make the heart in the middle. What do you think, guys? Because that was the one that was revealed to us. Yeah, I think I'll do that actually. So I'll move that there and I'll put that here, and we'll continue with putting out the card. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So continue the Cross of Destiny here. Skip that one because that's our cover card. Ah! Silly. No, hang on. Watch carefully, guys. The heart was going to be the middle, wasn't it? So this card goes here. This card goes here. This card goes here. And this card goes here. Alright, everybody. Got that, guys? Sorry if that's a bit confusing. Got a bit lost there. Alright. It's a bit awkward when a card gets revealed too quickly. Okay, so we've got heart in the middle here. Now I swapped that card with this one. So we'll keep that in mind, that this could have been the middle card as well. Okay? Keep that in mind. Alright, let's see what the cover card is. Tower. A legal matter. Okay, well, interesting. Mew, his conclusion card was Tower, and Gulf's cover card is Tower. Interesting. Okay, and what about Gulf's conclusion card? Ship. Something about travel or longing or something taking off on a new adventure or moving on. It can also mean moving on. But that was the last sort of thought I had. Other corner cards, we have child. Interesting. New beginning, child. Or I just said with the ship. And incense burner. So, like last month, Gulf still has some spring cleaning to do in regards to something. Okay, and what about this card? Oh, hang on. Four corners. I didn't do that for me, did I? I kind of skipped that step. Well, I'll do it here anyway. So tower, child, a legal matter about a child or about a new beginning, about a new project. He has to clear his mind about something. Clear his mind about something, or maybe it's about something spiritual. With the eye there. Maybe this new project or new start is destiny. That's another thought. And ship here. Well, journey. As I said, journey, longing, new adventure, or moving on. Okay. So they're the possibilities. All right. And now this one. Mountain. Obstacles. Challenges. Problems. Troubles. Okay. This one. Oh, look who's there. Spirit. I said karma earlier, didn't I? Something, destiny, karma, to do with the heart, something going on there. And this one, fox. Very interesting spread we have for Gulf this month. Okay. Yeah. So interesting that spirit is in reality. It's a matter of the heart, divine timing, divine destiny about his love life, and fox here. Secret, being secretive, being careful, being cautious. Okay, and what about this last card? Scythe. So what I said before, same as last month when he had this card for incense burner, he has some spring cleaning to do, possibly regarding people in his life or something in his life. It could be changing lifestyle even. Which, funnily enough, will come up next month because I read ahead for next month's predictions and that comes into next month. So interesting. Preparing to take a new direction. Making those sharp decisions about things, about travel or about... This could even be ship in general. This could be about being shipped with Smith, let's say. Or it could be about Waanjai as well. This could be saying that it's destiny for him to make a sharp decision about his relationship with Mew, as in, the shipped partner or the screen partner relationship about Mew. In other words, what is portrayed to the public about them. Might have to make a sharp decision about that. Or, like I said, Smith, because that's the other person he's really shipped with at the moment, which, the connections that are being made between those two are totally, coincidence. Coincidence or planted by you know, meant to be for promoting a show or promoting a company or something. They're not the same kind of coincidences that happen between Mew and Gulf, I'll tell you that much. But they try to make them look like it. Anyway. Yeah, okay, I can't really say much more until we get into the details, so let me get those cards. So we have ship. At least we didn't see any snake or coffin this time, or whip even. Whip has come up for Mew a lot lately, which has been a concern. Tower, mountain, heart. We also didn't get any like man or woman exact cards this time either, which is interesting. Oh, that'll be in the other. Up here. There it is, Spirit. Is that all of them? Let me just do that quickly. I've got all the cards. Heart. Mountain. Tower we start with. Child. Tower and mountain to me always, in Gulf's case, is like talking about lack of control over his work, like it's still all in the hands of management, let's say. Right, what are we missing? Fox and incense burner. There's incense burner. And where's Fox? Where are you, Foxy? I can't find Fox. There's only one Fox up there, right? It has to be in here. Where are you? Oh, not this one. What am I thinking? The other pile. So incense burner was down there, and then Fox should be in this pile. There it is. Okay, there we go. Now I'll switch back to the other screen. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't read Spanish. You're asking me to do it in Spanish, are you? Yes, I'll try. Okay. No worries, I'll try. Right. Now, ghost reading. So we'll start with the past or early in the month column here. Tower, Fox, incense burner. So, yep. The work card didn't come out for Gulf. So Fox and Tower could still be work related for Gulf. Which I sort of get the Tower more than the Fox makes me think of work. Especially with this, so I'm thinking Gulf work has to be cautious, careful, and strategic about possibly the work he takes on moving forward. Maybe he has to take a look at who he's working with and may have to do some spring cleaning in that regard. Or maybe this is like saying he has to be very careful and cautious about keeping his work and his private life separate. So keeping his work life clean of possibly deception or secrets. Could be something like that. Or incense burner can, sorry, didn't mean to give the finger. Incense burner can also be like perfume or a scent of some kind. So maybe he's going to work with the perfume company or something again. There's that small possibility as well, but not very apparent to me at this point in time. Just a possibility. And then we move on to present or mid-month. We have Mountain, Heart, Scythe. Oh dear. So, like Mew, big issue making a sharp decision that he can't see clarity with. Mew is having a hard time making a sharp decision regarding something he really loves, because there are obstacles and trouble in the way, or because of distance, because of schedule. Could be many things with the tower here as well. Could be many things that are preventing him or making it difficult for him to make this sharp decision regarding something he really loves and cares about. Whether that be a person or a project, work, or something else. So what I said earlier about both Mew and Gulf being anxious, worried, nervous. See that? Heart, Scythe, Heart, Scythe. Both of them are making sharp decisions about something they really care about. So that's an interesting connection there. Also, they both have Fox, so it's, you know, both of them are being cautious, strategic, possibly secretive, especially if they're doing it together, being very secretive and careful about who they tell anything to. Being careful about legal matters, about authority. Although Mew is a freelancer, he obviously has to speak up to someone. That's kind of been proven in the past with how he was with MSS. Now, as we said, this bear, whether that be Mama J or Tool's mother, May Jane, or somebody else, he's obviously still, you know, he's got somebody's in authority over him for something. Could even be his dad, actually. The bear is more related to the mother figure, but it could be his dad. Could be his dad. Because that's come up in past readings as well, of father not agreeing with son over a matter of the heart. Just to say that. So it could be that. Maybe with the ship here for Gulf, that could also be related to work, because really that's all Gulf travels for, at least at this point in his life. He really only travels for work. So the ship could be related to overseas work, for example. So perhaps he may need to stop accepting so many overseas jobs. And that way he has more time to make this sharp decision. And for, you know, spirit to do its thing then. Perhaps, I'm not sure, just a thought. But definitely with child here, there's a new start or a new project, or possibly even a literal child involved. Maybe this could be about with the child there with Tower. Maybe this could be about Gulf's wish to have children. Perhaps, maybe work is sort of standing in the way of that at the moment. Not in a like don't you dare have children way, but more that, you know, he can't possibly have a child at this point in time because of work, because he's too up to the neck in work. He's got too many other responsibilities and commitments right now regarding work. Maybe it's something like that. Or if you want to go to the idea that Waanjai are Mewgulf's children, maybe work is making it hard for him to connect with us. That's another possibility as well that I get. Because if we go back to his astro cards, opening up to the public about something, opening up to social media about something, or possibly even just opening that connection up again, reconnecting possibly with fans. Or if we go back to that slight possibility of maybe a special guest at his fan meet this year, reunion, public reunion with someone. Could be even that. Yeah, okay, so I was up to here, wasn't I? And then I was going for this one. So yeah, with spirit involved, it could be, this is what destiny wants, is for this new start to happen, and for this journey to take place, or this trip, this adventure to take place, or for him to move on from something or someone. Not necessarily Mew, I'll say. It could be moving on from his current work. We all know that Gulf had a dream of being a sports announcer. So, you know, it could be moving on from his current career, perhaps. Something like that. Or there's the other possibility that I mentioned a few readings back of moving overseas, because his work is mostly overseas these days. It could be it's destiny for him to have a new start overseas, maybe move overseas and start a new life sort of thing, possibly. Most likely, if that were the case, in Japan, because that's like his second home. So there's that possibility as well. Okay, and let's go on to, so what's on his mind right now? We have Tower, Mountain, Child. You know, actually, just with everything I just said, now I'm thinking of Switzerland. Mountains, Switzerland, child, new start. Moved to Switzerland with my family, he said. Work making hard. Work is making that dream hard to fulfill right now. But with spirit here, it could be meant to be. And in divine timing, it will happen. And they will move overseas, possibly to Switzerland. It's a long shot, but it's possible. But on his mind right now, I would say it's more that, yeah, like I said earlier, the thought of having children in the future, it's difficult right now because something is in the way. Now, this could be his management, so work in general, or this could be going back to, if we are to consider, you know, Mew and Gulf together in reality, it could be that the situation with Mew right now is the problem, making it hard. Because how can Mew and Gulf advance in their relationship, get married, have children, etc., when all this mess is going on? Right? So it could be something like that as well. Or if you want to look at the child as new start or new love, if possibly Gulf is in love with somebody else, again, either management could be making it difficult, on purpose or not. Or the situation with Mew and the way fans are still believing in them, etc., could also be making it hard. So there's that possibility as well. Not one that I truly believe in, but it is a possibility. And reality. Reality is that fox heart spirit. Secret love. Destiny. Straight away that stands out to me. Secrets, or being cautious about love. But destiny. Destiny makes me think, no, obviously that something is destiny. Something is destiny. Gulf is not destined to be cautious and careful about love. Gulf is destined to be in love with somebody, and this person he is in love with is a secret. Right? I suppose it could also be spun a different way if you want to go more to the side of possibly being negative towards Mewgulf, meaning thinking like karmic partner. It could be deceptive love was karma at play. It was meant to happen. It was a karmic relationship. Whatever they had at the time. Oh my goodness, but okay. Once again, you know, these birds, do you notice the timing here? I'm talking what Waanjai would say nonsense, and the birds start chattering so you can hardly hear me over them, or at least that's how I feel right now. Yeah, no, Waanjai, stop thinking that way. Don't spread such false thoughts, no. Possibly. But yeah, false love, in other words. False love is karmic. Could be something like that. Maybe. But after that, I'm not thinking so. I'm not thinking so. The timing of that. Look, they've gone away. Timing, guys. Divine timing. Perhaps that's what the hint is to me, is divine timing. This secret love, this love that he has to be careful and secretive about is destiny. But it has divine timing is the key point. All right, so that's the reality. Interesting, that's in reality, isn't it? It's not in his head. It's not hidden influences like what the fans are telling him and influencing him to think. It's reality. Right? Think about that. Okay, and hidden influences are incense burner, scythe, and ship. Yes, so after that, incense burner, scythe, and ship. Divine timing, secret love or false love, influenced by cleansing, possibly this could be related to, if we're thinking about Mewgulf, it could be related to how little they are seen together now. Could be about that, like falsely clearing each other out of their lives, sort of. Or this could be about clearing his mind enough to make the sharp decision about this life journey, this trip, this possible move that he could make in the future regarding a child, regarding a new start. Could be a new start with Mew. Regarding opening up to the public about it. Right? And I say this also because look, the scythe, when we do the knighting and the tease, the scythe is linked with the tower and the child. And the mountain and the heart. So it's a matter of the heart. There's a problem with making a sharp decision about work or possibly having a child in the future, or having a new start with someone or something. Mountain is linked with incense burner and ship. So again, this could be the trouble, the problem, the obstacle is that it appears that they are cleaned out of each other's lives, or they have very little time together. Or perhaps he can't clear his mind. Perhaps his mind is crowded with lots of different thoughts about the matter. Perhaps like Mew, he has this going on and he needs this. He needs to clear his mind. Perhaps they both need to clear their mind, in fact. Possibly together even. And ship is also with mountain. Ship could be longing to be together, but, you know, being worried about the repercussions if they announce to the public the truth about them. Could be there's the distance between them is a problem. If we go here, spirit is linked with tower and incense burner. So this could be the problem is that they're being separated for a while now. Was divine timing intervention. It could be that. Also his focus on work and work sort of preventing him from doing anything further was also divine timing intervention, if you look at it like that. So this secret love, divine timing intervention. If we go this way, fox and child and ship. So fox and child, strategic and careful about a new start, new project, or a child in general. Or being strategic, careful, cautious about a trip, about a life journey, about a move. Maybe being strategic about whether to move on or not, because in a lot of past readings this year, Gulf has been umming and ahhing about the matter as well. So, could be that. You know, whether do I want to believe that our love is destiny, if he's thinking about Mew? Do I want to believe that this love I feel is destiny? And should I go on? Should I pursue it, in other words? Something like that. Yeah, so I think I've covered that pretty much all I can now. What time is it? 4:42? Oh, not bad, not bad. Okay. Alright, so I'll pack these cards up and we'll move on to the tarot reading part of things. We'll do because this was for the month. This is for the month of November. What's gonna happen regarding the month of November. Hang on, let me change the camera so you can see what I'm doing here. For those critics out there that are watching, you know, I love you guys. Alright, so just shuffling those back in there because we do use these cards for clarifying later. So they're all ready to go there now. Okay,